Every research study is guided by a philosophy, which is a way of thinking about how knowledge is generated and what counts as truth. Two of the most important philosophical approaches that define modern research are positivism and post-positivism. Positivism is the traditional scientific approach to research, and post-positivism is the modern critical reflective approach that evolved from positivism. These two ideas form the foundation of scientific and social research. These philosophies influence how researchers view reality, how they gain knowledge, and which methods they use. Positivism was introduced by Auguste Comte, the father of sociology, in the 19th century. He proposed that human knowledge evolves through three stages. 1. Theological or religious. 2. Metaphysical or philosophical. 3. Positive or scientific, where truth is discovered through observation and experiment. He believed that real knowledge comes only from empirical observation, what we can see, measure, and verify. In simple terms, positivism says, if it cannot be observed or measured, it cannot be studied scientifically. Assumptions of positivism. In the positivist approach to research, reality is believed to be objective. It exists independently of human thoughts, feelings, or perceptions. True knowledge, according to positivism, comes only from observation and measurement, that is what can be seen, tested, and verified scientifically. Research, therefore, should be value-free, meaning the researcher must remain neutral and avoid letting personal beliefs influence the study. The methodology used in positivism is primarily quantitative and experimental, relying on data, statistics, and controlled conditions. The overall goal of positivist research is to discover universal laws or general principles that can explain and predict phenomena in a scientific and objective way. Features of positivist research. In positivist research, the investigator follows the scientific method, using systematic steps such as observation, hypothesis formulation, experimentation, and verification to find truth. It focuses on cause-and-effect relationships, which aims to understand how one variable influences another. There is a strong emphasis on quantification, statistical analysis, and hypothesis testing, as positivists believe that numerical data provide objective and reliable results. The researcher acts as an objective observer or detached observer. He keeps his personal values, opinions, and emotions separate from the study to ensure neutrality. For example, a researcher wants to study the impact of daily exercise on mental health. He collects numerical data from 500 participants, uses statistical tests, and reports cause and effect relation as conclusions. The researcher's role is objective. He does not interpret emotions or context, he only analyzes measurable results. Limitations of positivism. Positivism has several important limitations. First, it ignores human subjectivity, emotions, and cultural context. It focuses only on what can be observed and measured while ignoring personal meanings and experiences. Second, it assumes that all aspects of reality can be quantified and measured, which is not always possible when studying complex human behavior or social interactions. Finally, positivism is not suitable for studying social, psychological, or educational phenomena where individual perceptions, feelings, and values play a vital role in understanding reality. Thus, in the 20th century, philosophers and social scientists began to challenge strict positivism. This gave rise to a new approach called post-positivism. Post-positivism. Post-positivism evolved in the 20th century as a response to the limitation of positivism. Thinkers like Karl Popper argued that science cannot prove absolute truth. It can only test and disprove false ideas. Post-positivism accepts that reality exists, but our understanding of it is always partial, imperfect, and socially influenced. Assumptions of post-positivism. In the post-positivist approach, it is believed that reality does exist, but it can never be fully known or perfectly understood. What researchers discover is only a probable or approximate truth. Knowledge, according to this view, is interpretive and tentative. It means it is shaped by the researcher's background, perspective, and context. Research in this paradigm cannot be completely value-free, as the researcher's own beliefs, experiences, and assumptions naturally influence the way data are interpreted. The methodology of post-positivist research often combines both quantitative and qualitative methods, using a mixed methods approach to get a more complete understanding of reality. The overall goal is to approximate truth through careful critical analysis, reflection, and triangulation, where evidence is cross-checked using multiple methods and sources to increase reliability and depth of understanding. Features of post-positivist research. Post-positivist research accepts that truth is always partial and provisional, meaning that no single study can reveal the complete reality. Knowledge is always open to revision. Truth does exist, but it must be continuously tested, questioned, and refined through ongoing research. It uses mixed methods, combining both quantitative and qualitative approaches to gain a broader and deeper understanding of complex phenomena. This approach values triangulation, where multiple methods, data sources, or perspectives are combined to enhance the validity and reliability of findings. This approach values context, subjectivity, and reflexivity, recognizing that findings depend on the social, cultural, and situational background, and that researchers must reflect on their own role and influence throughout the process. In post-positivism, the researcher is considered an active part of the research process, rather than a detached observer, acknowledging that their role, beliefs, and context can shape the outcomes. Post-positivism seeks probability rather than absolute certainty, focusing on what is most likely true based on evidence, rather than claiming final or universal truths. Example of post-positivist research. A researcher might analyze survey data statistically, but also interview teachers to understand emotions and context. It combines objectivity with human meaning. In the next lecture, we will explain difference between positivism and post-positivistic approach to research. Thank you so much for watching. वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो लाइक करिए, शेयर करिए और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलिए ताकि आपको मिलते रहे और भी अमेजिंग लेक्चर्स।